Welcome back. What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Apple Home Talk Live, the weekly live stream all about building a smart home in the Apple ecosystem and elsewhere, I suppose, these days a little bit. How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys here. I hope everybody's having a great week. Hope you had a great 4th of July. Those my fellow Americans out there that celebrated 4th of July. It's hot, nice and hot here for sure. Summertime is, we're definitely feeling it. We got some news, a little bit of stuff to talk about today. Not a whole lot of new product announcements and exciting stuff like that this week that I'm aware of anyways, but there is some stuff to get into. We will talk about soon, some important stuff for Apple Home and some of the new updates coming. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. We'll also definitely I'll try to answer as many questions as I can today because I think we'll have plenty of time for that. So welcome if you're joining live here today, and feel free to drop some questions in the chat early on if you want, and I will do my best to flag those, and we'll come back to questions in a minute. But in the meantime, let's say hi to some folks. Let's see who we got here today in the chat. What's going on, Albert? Good afternoon. Just hit 100 degrees. Wow. Yeah. That's, I don't know what it is right now, but it feels like 100. I was out there earlier today. It's pretty brutal. What's up, Frederick? Good to see you, Frederick. And Brian, glad you can make it, Brian. I know you've been a busy guy lately. Happy Wednesday to you as well. Good to see you here. Let's see. John, what's up, John? John Wolf from Texas. Official Baba Trolling, good to see you here again. Let's see who else we got in the chat. Ontario, Canada. I bet the weather's a little bit nicer there. How hot does it get in Canada right about now? Probably not near as bad as it is here. It might be nice and comfortable there. What's up, Jeff? Let's go. Good to see you, man. I hope all is well. George, what's up, brother? Hope all is well. Hope you're doing good today. Jeremy, what's up, Jeremy? Wisconsin is here. Let's see. All right, good to see everybody. We got Georgia in the house. What's up, Jeff from Georgia? Nice. I spent many summers actually going to Georgia growing up. I never lived in Georgia. I had to actually think about that for a second. Lived in a lot of places growing up, but never lived in Georgia. But we went there pretty much every summer growing up, going to see the Atlanta Braves. Back in the good old days in the 90s. It's hot in Pittsburgh, I hear. Sunny Las Vegas, what's going on? Tom, what's up, Tom? Austin, Texas in the house. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well, having a good week so far. Bill, what's up, Bill? Juan, Virginia here. All right, we got people from all over. Looks and sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate the feedback there. Turin, what's going on, Turin? Good to see you. Yeah, I had to check real quick right before I hopped on because I didn't have much time today. I was kind of doing a bunch of different things, and I was like, did I plug in my microphone properly? What's up, Larry? Good to see you here, Larry. All right, UK is in the house. What's going on, Graham? Glee? Oh, man, I'm trying to catch up here. Lots of comments here. What's up, Terry? Good to see you, Terry. Hope all is well over in your neck of the woods. 107 in Austin yesterday. What's up, Dan? Hey to all the Apple homies. Hey, I like that. Apple homies. We might have to roll with that one. What's up, Raul from LA? All right, we got from the east to the west coast today. Terry is in Atlanta also. Cool. Australia here. Oh, 86. Yeah, that sounds nice. I don't know, that might be hot for you guys, but 86 sounds nice to me right about now. 86 in Ontario, Canada. All right, so let's get into it. Like I said today, if you do have questions, I think it'll be a good day if you're here tuning in live. Be a good day for questions, and you can ask me about my setup, any of the certain products or whatever that maybe I have experience with, or others here in the chat obviously can help out. I think we'll have some time today for questions. Do preface your comment with the word question if you would. It'll just help it stick out a little bit, and I can flag those and make sure I try to come back to as many as possible. But first, I just wanted to share, in case you guys have not seen this just came out in the past week or so. Yeah, just in the past few days. Apple says these iOS 27 features will require $9.99 month subscription. So in a nutshell, some of the AI features that we've heard about that are going to be coming to Apple Home specifically for the cameras. So I've talked about this a good bit here on the live streams and in a couple of my recent videos. We're getting some exciting updates for Apple Home cameras with iOS 27. The betas are out, so some people are using the betas and stuff like that. Things like intelligent notifications, AI analysis essentially of your cameras and those summaries, the ability to search using AI through your cameras, like search for the guy with the red hat, stuff like that. All really cool stuff, but it was just announced, and this just came out, like I said, that those new AI features will require at least the 2 terabyte iCloud Plus plan. So, these features include AI descriptions for HomeKit secure video, the ability to search through camera clips, and automatic surfacing of noteworthy clips. That's kind of the feature where it'll take, multiple or the same event basically from multiple cameras and kind of stitch them together, those events. Really great features, but it looks like you're going to have at least the 2 terabyte iCloud Plus plan for this. I'm kind of going back and forth regarding how I feel about this. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. Lone Star Trent said, it froze for me. Okay, you're good now. How's the stream? It says we're lagging. Let's see. Or that's just Lone Star Trent. So am I lagging for everybody, or is it just Lone Star Trent? PalmaKit says, I think HomeKit Secure Video users likely already have the 2 terabyte subscription. That is certainly a valid argument, I think. Stream is good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you guys. Appreciate the feedback. Let's see. What's up, Cali girl? Good to see you here. No lag. Okay, thank you, Chris. All right, appreciate the feedback, guys. Looks good. So yeah, I'll just share my thoughts, I guess, on this. I do understand the need to charge a subscription, and requiring a subscription for HomeKit secure video cameras is nothing new. And I actually talked about this in my last video briefly. I covered the subscription requirements, but before, like for the 50 gigabyte plan, I think it was 1 camera, and then moving up from there, you go like 1 camera, it'll support 5 cameras, I think was the next tier, and then the 2 terabyte and up plan supported unlimited cameras. So a lot of us kind of hardcore, I guess you would say, Apple HomeKit users probably already have the 2 terabyte plan, as PalmaKit said to his point earlier. That is true. So it doesn't necessarily affect me in a lot of ways. That's kind of one of the reasons why I've always liked HomeKit Secure Video, is because I already had the iCloud plan. I mean, I'd probably have the iCloud Plus plan anyways, even if it didn't have anything to do with the cameras. So it's nice that I can get those features, the ability to use HomeKit Secure Video, cloud recording, without having to get an additional subscription. So that's kind of the nice thing about it. And let's see, look through some of the comments here. Frederick says, so if you have the 2 terabyte plan, then you do not have to pay extra for these features. That's correct. That's my understanding. That's the way it looks now. So just like before, if you had the 2 terabyte plan or higher, you had support for unlimited Apple HomeKit secure video cameras. So kind of the same thing here. So you had to have that kind of unlimited tier, and you shouldn't have to pay anything extra, and you'll be able to take advantage of those AI features. Again, I kind of understand needing to charge a fee for this kind of stuff. AI processing, all that is not cheap necessarily. It does cost money, so I get it. It is just a bit unfortunate to me. Like, I wish they could have maybe still allowed the AI features, those advanced features coming for all the plans, and just still limited the number of cameras that were supported, I feel like that would have been maybe a good kind of a good middle ground to land on, because the way I see it is it's maybe a deterrent, if you will, for people who are just getting started. So I like to see the barrier to entry really low for people who are just getting into the smart home stuff. I love smart home tech. I love using Apple HomeKit and, just all this stuff that we talk about all the time. And so I love to see when other people get into it and new people get in. And now that's just going to be a bigger barrier to entry. If I have a friend or a family member who maybe wants to get a camera, maybe they get one camera. They probably don't have the 2 terabyte plan. They're not like a diehard Apple Home user or Apple user even, and they just have maybe one of the more basic plans. It would be great if they could just get their one camera working, maybe a doorbell camera or something like that, and be able to use those advanced, those AI features without having to up their iCloud plan. I think that's a bit of a deterrent, if you will. So those are my thoughts on that. Again, I get it. It's just a bit unfortunate, I feel like. Yeah, if you have multiple cameras that can utilize those AI features, you would need to be on that tier anyways. You can still pay $9.99 for a single camera. Seems reasonable. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Again, so I didn't see that. So you mentioned you can pay 99 cents for a single camera. What is that? I have not seen that anywhere. Maybe that's something that I missed. But yeah, true. But like I said, let's say you just have one camera and you want to take advantage of, some of those new search features and stuff like that. It's unfortunate. It's like, yeah, HomeKit Secure Video is awesome if you have the 2 terabyte or higher plan. I just, that's going to be a harder sell for me when I'm talking to my family or friends that are thinking about getting into Apple Home. They might look elsewhere because of something like that. That's just my 2 cents. Kelly says, I'm getting into it and it does feel like a barrier. So yeah, thank you for sharing. I do think that's an issue, because I know for a fact I have done this exact same thing. I have set up a smart home, like a very beginner level smart home for friends and family. I've done that in the past and utilize HomeKit Secure Video for them. And it's great when, maybe they have the 50 gigabyte plan. I can say, look, you have this plan already. You don't have to get any other subscriptions or anything. You're good to go. But now if I were to do the same thing with just a very simple setup for a friend or family, they can't utilize those awesome features. They can maybe still use HomeKit Secure Video, get the recordings, which I guess is good, but it sucks that they can't use those cooler features, So again, yeah, I get it. I think $10 a month is reasonable for what you're getting. I don't disagree with that. I do agree. And it's not a lot, but oh yeah, okay. I see. Just to get one camera into HomeKit Secure Video. Yeah, so the comment earlier about 99 cents. Yeah. But that was just always one of the things that makes HomeKit Secure Video really nice, is just the low barrier to entry for iPhone users who likely have these plans anyways. And it just makes it a little more confusing, I feel like, to tell new people getting into it. So that's my 2 cents. But again, I understand these things have to be paid for. So I'm not totally upset. On the same hand, I am very happy that we're not having to get an additional subscription, and that it is a part of the 2 terabyte iCloud plan that I already have. So I am very happy about that. Don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of two sides of the coin there, I guess. Yeah, Don says I'm paying about that much for just my Ring doorbell. Yeah. And that's the thing. These things do cost money, and you are going to probably pay that somewhere. So I definitely understand. Why? Oh man, you know what? Sorry, bear with me. Let's turn these lights back on. I think that happened last week, didn't it? Bear with me. Can you guys still hear me? I know you can't see me very well. See, I got to stop testing stuff in here for all my videos and things. I need a testing room. All right, my lights will come back on in a second. Yeah, not responding. I am getting one not responding now, of course. Yeah, the lights just went out. All right, give me a second. Let me get my main light back on. Just the light. Hearing just fine. Yeah, I'm just sitting in the dark. I need to disable some automations, I think, real quick. So I'm going to do that while we chat. What happened? He installed the beta. No, actually, what happened is I started using a bunch of, I've been testing and using a bunch of different new like motion sensors and occupancy sensors. And I think what happened is probably they stopped detecting motion or something like that, or maybe something's not working right and my lights went out. So let's see, I'm going to find that automation and I'm just going to cut it off for now. Let's see, is that the right one? See, the problem is I'll test these things in all these different ecosystems and then I forget where I put it. Let's see, I think, sorry guys. I think it's this one maybe that might be doing that. We disable that. All right, we'll see if that happens again. I don't know, makes for an interesting live stream, I guess. Let me catch up in the chats here. Yeah, good point there. Hoot Mom says Apple One Premium, get all the 2 terabyte features and the family can utilize for backup. Much better than individual per phone subscription. Yes, I do agree. The Apple One subscription is really nice for families. Sorry, looking through the comments. Tom says, which occupancy sensor is it? I'd like to pass on that one. Well, it's the test. I'm in the testing phase. So I've got a few new ones. I've got the new LaFair sensor. I also have a few of those. And, you know, occupancy sensors, you got to put them in. I've got them in like weird places actually right now. So I've been testing like multiple ones and it just gets a little messy when I'm testing. And also there's a new third reality one that I'm also been using. So it's probably one of those. And the problem is I set up all these things and then I like forget what I'm doing or what I set up in the moment. All right, let me see. Let me catch up here with you guys. Yeah, presence sensor setting up and automations will be the death of me. They are a pain. I mean, I won't lie. I agree. You know, presence sensors are fantastic compared to motion sensors in most cases, I think. And because they've gotten really good in the past like 2 years, I've been doing a lot more motion-based automations, but I will say before the presence sensors really started becoming a thing, I just didn't really use many motion-based automations at all. There was a couple, but for the most part, I didn't use them because they were just such a pain to set up. And, you know, if they don't work right, you piss off people in the house or you just end up in the dark when you're going live on YouTube. like I do. And Palmakit says, that's why spouses don't like home automation when it doesn't work properly. Exactly. Yep. 100%. I deal with that all the time. Frederick says, Caroline would have a royal fit over that. Yes. McLaurin dude says, what smart thermostat are you currently using? So currently I have the Aqara W200 on my main floor. That's the one I'm using. I switched out of Ecobee for that one, and just to like test it and everything. And I've liked it so much so that I'm still using it. And I am still using the Ecobee on my second floor. So I have a split a unit, single unit, but split. What do you call it? You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say. Split zones. There you go. And so, yeah, I have one of each right now. And I think both of those are great options, Ecobee and Aqara. Aqara's really done a lot with theirs. Even since releasing it, it's been really good. Let's see. Keenan says, I just set up the IKEA motion sensors to turn on my stairwell light. Creating automations was tricky, but so far they're working well. Yeah, that's been my favorite place, I think, to use motion-based automations is in like the stairway or hallways and stuff like that. Sometimes closets. Closets you can a lot of times use door sensors, but yeah, actually, it's funny you say that. I actually have one of the IKEA motion sensors also for my stairwell light. So I have a little light, a rope light down my stairway. I really like how that came out, and I'm using an IKEA motion sensor at the bottom of the stairs to trigger that, and then I have a different motion sensor at the top of the stairs, so it's triggered from either side. All right, let me get to some of these questions. I flagged some. I'm going to start getting to these. Oh yeah, that's another good point there, Turin. Sorry, real quick before we get to that. Motion sensors work better than present sensors because of ceiling fans. Ceiling fans can definitely be a problem. Yeah. And so that's why like strategic placement really makes a big difference. And that's what I've been playing around with here in the studio. It's like I'll be sitting at my desk and I'll test it for a while, but I want to make sure that I haven't used occupancy in my studio for a while. So I'm trying to get back into that, but I'll be sitting at my desk for a while, test it, and then I'll go sit over there, test it for a while. Give me a good excuse to sit and play the new PlayStation that I got for a while. I'm testing for YouTube. But yeah, I just want them to stay on all the time. Obviously, still need a little work to do on that. Okay. I see some questions. If you would, I see some of them that I'm going to save, but do preface your comment with the word question because I'm going to come back to them, as many as I can see. Jeff said, I'm hoping Aqara will enable us to set an automation for other Aqara cameras to show on the Aqara W200 like they do on their doorbell. Hey, that's a great suggestion. Yeah, I guess I don't know how they would do that. I guess you could do it where it's triggered just based off of motion, or maybe if a person is detected, do a pop-up, because right now it works as a pop-up when you press the doorbell automatically, but I suppose they could do something like that, or maybe allow you to create an automation kind of manually for that. Yeah, that's interesting. I would definitely submit that feedback. Maybe you've already done that, but yeah, I was just reading through our Discord earlier today, and there were some comments about Aqara replying and fixing things and updating stuff very well, which is something that they typically do. So they definitely take the feedback. I would definitely suggest that. That would be a good one, and give probably people even more of a reason to use that thermostat, I would say. Okay, let me get to these questions now, finally. Juan said earlier, when am I going to drop new merch? Man, I've always kind of want to do this. This is just one of those things that kind of sits on the back burner a lot of times until I get it done. But I would like to release some more. Maybe by this fall. I've had a hat or two in mind that I would like to do. I've never released a hat. So, yeah, hopefully by this fall. at least. We'll get some new merch out. Hootbomb said you're gonna try the new Unify alarm hub and the Unify relay for a garage door opener for a garage opener. Excuse me. Home Assistant can be used to adapt it to an actual garage opener switch in Apple Home rather than just a relay switch. Right now, I don't have any plans to do anything like that for my garage. I'm really happy with the Tailwind garage door opener. We've talked about it extensively, I feel like, here in these live streams. So I don't have any plans on switching that for the Unify relay, although that sounds like a good solution there. Just read through that comment again. Yeah, I don't know. I really want to utilize Unify more for security things other than just cameras. I tried a little bit a while ago with some of their SuperLink sensors. I bought a few of those and did some testing and stuff. I just wasn't able to. The biggest thing holding me back probably is the keypad. There's no, last I checked anyways, there's no like physical keypad that you can use or buy to use with a Unify security system to set up like different alarms and stuff with the PoE siren. I really like to see that. I have to have a physical alarm or physical keypad for my family, I think, in order to use something like that. And also there was no good way to get those alarms. I think, the alarm manager, to get those into like Home Assistant or HomeKit or anything. So I kind of stopped on that project or that endeavor a little while ago, but hopefully we'll see some updates there. All right, shirt idea. Home Assistant is like homework. That could be a good shirt. Yep, I would wear that. I stand by that. They're making it easier. No question. It's getting better, but it's still like homework. Lurkjerk says, have you tried the new energy monitoring in HomeKit? I use Homey Energy for it, but like it very much. I haven't really messed around with it a whole lot. I saw that it's doing better like in the betas for reporting with iOS beta. What are we on? Beta 3 for iOS 27. So I think that energy reporting is getting better in HomeKit, but I haven't really done a whole lot with that personally. Yeah, some stuff I think is still not showing up for the energy reporting. Oh, nice. Hootbomb says it's on their roadmap and not out for the keypad. Yeah, I'd love to see a keypad of some sort. It's homework that's worth doing. Some would argue that. I mean, you can do some amazing stuff for sure with Home Assistant. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe if it's worth the time. I value my time a lot, and I have spent already more time than I would like to with Home Assistant, and I know I have only scratched the surface compared to some of you guys. Terry, you're doing some awesome stuff with Home Assistant. So yeah, if you can get through it, it probably is worth it, I suppose. All right, let's see some of these other questions. Trey asked earlier, are you going to get the Schlage Sense Pro? Let's pull it up. I'm curious what you guys think about this. I don't know if we mentioned it in the live streams or not yet, but this is the new Schlage Sense Pro. It was actually just released, and I saw it in person when I went out to Austin, Texas. They had them there at that CSA event that I went to, and that was like right when they released it, I think. I think it was that same week. So I got to see it in person in use, and it looks nice. I mean, it looks like I don't know, it looks like a power bank or something to me. It's just a black box, really. I don't know. It looks really nice when it's in use. It has these really nice like animations, and it looks very kind of futuristic, I guess. It comes in a few different colors, but look at that price point. So that's the thing that really kind of makes me stop in my tracks. $3.99 for that little black box. I don't know, man. I don't know if Schlage just got a little bit ahead of themselves with that one. That's asking a lot. It doesn't have, so obviously the big thing with this is ultra wideband unlocking. Excuse me. It was announced a long time ago, kind of when ultra wideband for Apple Home was first mentioned, but they just now came out with it recently, and I think if that was the first ultra wideband lock available on the market, they could get away with that price point. And in fact, I'm pretty sure they could. But it's not the first lock on the market with ultra wideband unlocking for Apple Home. So I don't think that they can really get away with that price. I don't know. I suppose there's some people that just want a Schlage lock, and in that case, it's probably a fantastic lock. But to answer this question, at this point, I don't have any plans to get one. I don't know. Maybe if they sent me one, I would try it out and use it just to share with you guys. Let me know what if it's something you guys would even want to see. Yeah, Hoot Bomb says it's nice, but it is worth 2 times the cost of the car one that does the same thing with more development and updates. Right. Yeah, exactly. A big thing regarding the Schlage, I mean, you look at that price point, that's like almost 2 times more the price. And this one does not have a fingerprint sensor. You know, it does have Apple Home Key, and it's got the ultra wideband unlocking, but no Sports Matter. So I mean, that's all great, but there's no fingerprint reader and there's no physical key. So some people like that. Some people don't like that. There's no right or wrong answer. But I know sometimes people will say, oh, well, if there's a physical key, then it's not secure. Any key can be picked, or whatever. Lock picking lawyer will get into it in 3.2 seconds or whatever. So if you're one of those people, spend $400 for the Schlage Sense Pro, and you won't have a physical key. You also won't have a fingerprint reader. I just feel like, I don't know, especially at that price point. I don't care so much about the physical key myself, but I do really like having a fingerprint sensor on my lock, and I just think that they're a little out of touch with that price. I don't know. I don't guess I need to talk about it anymore. Lone Star Trent says, I never use a physical key anymore. Terry says, some people like that it uses AA batteries in 2026. That's a deal breaker for me personally. Yeah, I mean, again, there's no right or wrong answer. I understand different strokes for different folks. I do really like the rechargeable battery, like on the Akara one. And yeah, Jeff says thieves don't care if they use the front door. Yeah, so those arguments about the security and the key is silly to me. Like, me and most of the people I know literally have 2 panes of windows on either sides of the door, so nobody's picking my lock. They're just going to break the glass that's literally right next to the lock. So don't get any ideas, but yeah. So those arguments are kind of silly, I think. But again, I get it. Everybody's got their different concerns. And the Akara lock is just amazing. I mean, it's fantastic. So let's see. Yeah, Tom says, I think it looks good, but the price is asinine. I'll keep my U400, the Akara lock. Yeah, and I'm kind of torn on the look of that one, to be honest with you. It looks really cool when it's being used. I'm trying to see if they have like a good animation or show it being used. It looks really cool and it's very smooth when you're using it. But when it's not in use, it just looks like a black box on your door. I mean, it literally looks like that. You don't see any numbers or anything. It's just like a black box on the door. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn on the looks of it, I guess. John says the key is still good for people that work for you. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to still have a key. It's a nice backup, I think, especially when you're afraid of losing battery or battery draining and stuff like that. I also do understand the security aspect. Keys are easier to, it's a security flaw, I mean, if you will. Some people look at it that way. Again, I don't see anybody that's going to be picking the lock. You know, there's easier ways to break into the house probably. Is all I'm saying. Tommy Graham says, is Aqara ever going to make a keypad for their security system? You know, that would be a really nice product for them to make. Just something they could probably do this. This would be good feedback, I feel like, for Aqara. They could probably create a product like this fairly easily and just allow you to do all the programming and everything right in the Aqara app yourself, set up the security system and all that, and just have, you know, a keypad interface that you can use or that your family can use to arm and disarm the security system. Yeah, I don't know. They haven't said anything, as far as I'm aware, of any product like this that's going to be released. This is one of the suggestions that I mentioned, though, in my Aqara W200 video for the thermostat. I did feel like that was a big missed opportunity. I don't know if Aqara has kind of taken that into consideration or not, but that was a huge missed opportunity for them not to allow you can do it, but it's not really seamless, but to create an interface for your Aqara security system right there on the thermostat. That would have been, I mean, to me, that's would have almost been a no-brainer. It's what essentially Ecobee does with their whole security system and stuff, although I don't like a lot of the things about Ecobee's security system side of things. But Aqara could have definitely done that. Like I said, there are ways to do it. I did set that up where you can like arm and disarm your security system, but it's kind of clunky. You have to do it all manually. If they would just create some sort of like widget or something for the thermostat that ties into your security system modes and give you a little keypad for arming and disarming it, that would be a great use case, I think, for your thermostat. A lot of times thermostats are in those kind of convenient places. In addition, you know, creating a standalone keypad for a security system, like Tommy here mentioned, I think would be a great idea, but haven't heard anything like that so far. Oh yeah, the Nuki lock is a good one too. Pamakit says, I like the look of Nuki, very discreet. Oh yeah, the NFC keypad is nice too. So I use one of those. I actually set one of those up for my friend, and he's using the Nuki lock. A lot of people in the EU have been using Nuki, I think, longer than here in the States. It was a really popular lock, I think, there. And they just kind of recently got into the smart home market over here in the past year or two. But yeah, that's probably one of the best. There's a few good options, but that's a really good retrofit smart lock. Yeah, and a bit different with a retrofit lock like that, but that was a really good one also. Oh, nice. Lurk Jerk says, I'm using a Ring keypad with Homey Pro. Nice. Okay. So are you using that with is there like a Ring plugin for Homey Pro that you're using that for, or do you have it kind of integrated like directly over Zigbee, or maybe that's Z-Wave? I'm not sure. I actually kind of considered doing something like this and trying to set up something like that with Home Assistant, with a Ring keypad for my Unify stuff, like I was talking about earlier. But like I said, I couldn't find a good way to get the Unify alarm manager stuff that I was setting up into Home Assistant to be able to do that. So Terry says we never use the keypad. Yeah, and these are all things, like I said, there's kind of no right or wrong answer for any of this stuff. It all just depends on your family and how you use things. In my house, like, we have to have a keypad because I can't rely on automations. Our schedules are too crazy. We got too many people living here, and the keypad is just, it's a foolproof way to make sure the alarm gets armed or disarmed. I use my keypad, or excuse me, I use automations mostly to arm the security system, but for me, it's pretty critical to have a keypad for disarming it for folks here in the house. Okay, nice. Cool, thanks, Tom. I might have to check that out. Maybe using that through... I'm using the Abode security system, and I really love that. I was just thinking about that the other night. That's one of the systems that has just been working pretty much flawlessly for years now. There's not too many things I can say that about, but the Abode stuff has been really good for me. Using it in Apple Home, using it in Home Assistant in different places, and it just works all the time. I have not had any issues with that. Follow up here. Yeah, Brian says I think a lot of people use those Ring keypads with Home Assistant. Yeah, I saw that, and I was kind of looking into it myself. I think I would get one if I could find a way to. Again, not that there's anything wrong with my Abode system because it works really well. I would like to utilize Unify somehow. So I don't know if anybody's got any ideas on how I can utilize the Unify alarm manager, the Unify alarm modes with Home Assistant or with some sort of keypad. Let me know. Otherwise, I might just have to wait till Unify makes a keypad. Let's see, are there any questions I miss? Does anyone have the Innovelli switch with presence sensor built in, and does it work well? I have not used this one yet. Let's see. Is that... I'm trying to think if... I don't know if they sell that smart presence dimmer, so they make it in the Z-Wave version here. I don't know if they have that. This is the Innovelli switch. I've used one or two of their White Series switches, which is matter over thread. Let's see, do they have... Oh, they do have it in Zigbee also, the presence sensing dimmer switch. I don't think they make that in the White Series yet. Let's see, I could be wrong. Smart dimmer, on off, fan switch, yeah, not in the White Series. So you have to go either Z-Wave or Zigbee for that one. Let's see, do we have any comments? Does anybody use that one? McLaurin dude asks, are you still using the UWB door lock, the one that you just walk up and unlock with Apple Watch? Yeah, absolutely. The Aqara U400, I'm still using that one, and that is the only other smart lock available right now that supports ultra wideband unlocking with Apple Home, other than the Schlage Sense Pro that we just talked a lot about. So yeah, big price difference there. I think there's a lot more features probably with the Aqara lock also. I like the Aqara one, but yeah, I'm still using that. I use a few different smart locks also. I also have one that can unlock with my face and my palm and all these other things too. Okay, got that question. Have you had a chance to look at the LifeX Smart Dimmer 4-button light switch? I have not, actually. That's the new one, right? Wasn't there a new one just released? Yeah. So I saw this, but I haven't had a chance to use it, actually. So let's take a look at it real quick. I haven't really looked much into this one. It's a smart dimmer switch. I think this is Matter over Wi-Fi. Let's see. It looks pretty cool. So I guess you got a smart button up top right here. A paddle for on off. That probably controls the load. And it's a dimmer also. Okay, so it's basically a dimmer switch with the extra button for scene control. I'm not sure what all is programmable. Some different images of it. Looks pretty nice. Let's look at the specs. Yep, 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So, that's the only thing, man. I like the other LifeX products that I've used, but they are all Wi-Fi. I'm not using any of their switches. I really like the way that looks. Kind of has some Innovelli vibe there with that LED bar. I just really don't like using light switches over Wi-Fi personally. I don't know. I don't mind using lights, especially like accent lights and stuff like that support Wi-Fi here and there, but I just really don't like my light switches to use Wi-Fi. I would much rather, Zigbee or Lutron Caseda's Clear Connect, or just Thread, Zigbee, or Lutron Caseda basically for my smart switches. That's pretty much how I do it. Yeah, that's also a factor. Good point, Brian says. I love that LifeX switch, or I don't love the LifeX switch, excuse me. Too many buttons. That is another factor for sure. Something like this, I think it looks kind of cool. I would like it for somewhere like here in my studio or my garage, but yeah, you put something like that in the kitchen or where your family, your wife and kids or whoever is going to be using it, they might be like, what the heck do I do with this? That's why I do typically keep those light switches pretty simple. I do have a 4-button Aqara switch here in my studio, which is great. I use it to control all kinds of scenes and stuff, but I'm the only one that uses it. So, I don't have to worry about people getting frustrated or not being able to turn off the lights, McLaurin Dude asked, what's your recommendation for smart lights, or smart light switch, or would you go with smart light bulb? Now, historically, I've always said, personally, in my house, I prefer smart switches over smart bulbs. There's pros and cons to each. Obviously, if you go with smart switches alone, you can't control the color temperature or the colors of your lights. You can only control the on, off, and the dimming of your lights with the smart switch. But to me, all my main lights that are controlled by switches, I don't really need color for. So I've just always stuck with smart switches. Again, Lutron Caseda has been one of my favorites. There's a few others that I use like Innovelli or Aqara that are really good for smart switches too. But it's just, you have to me, if you live with other people, you have to have physical control at the wall. So if you have a ceiling light that is controlled by a light switch, you have to still be able to use that light switch. I don't care. If you live with people, you have to be able to do that. People expect to be able to use a light switch. So for that reason, I just change out the light switches. They can still use it. I can still use it, but I also have all the smart control. If you do smart bulbs, you can't use the light switches and your automations will still work. You know, if you flip the switch off, it'll kill the connection to your smart bulb and you can't use it. Now, there is a caveat to that where you get something like Innovelli, smart switches, or Aqara can do this, and you can use like a smart bulb mode, and you can program your switches to control the ceiling light or the smart bulbs in your ceiling light. So you can do all that. It's just more steps. So like I actually did a video where I did finally install some smart bulbs in my ceiling, some of my ceiling lights. But in order for me to even do that, I had to also install a smart switch that can support that smart bulb mode. So to me, in my house, if I'm going to be using smart bulbs in the ceiling or anywhere that is controlled by a light switch, I also have to change the switch to some kind of smart switch that has a smart bulb mode. So to me, it's just more complicated, and I think it's really only worth it if you want colors and stuff like that. Otherwise, I'm just going to use smart switches all day. That's my 2 cents on that. I've definitely had some experience with, I think one of my first smart lighting products that I ever bought way back when was a starter kit for Philips Hue. And I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I can control the lights with my phone app. And then I put the lights in, I think, over the kitchen table, and I was like, oh, it's so cool. I can control the lights and all this right here from my phone. And then somebody went and turned the switch off, and then everything just died. And I learned really quick that, it just doesn't work that way. So, yeah, Brian says Lutron Caseta 100%. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Lutron Caseta. I don't think I've heard anybody that's been upset that they went with Lutron Caseta. Yeah, Wild Bill says, I use Lutron light switches for everything in my house. I only use smart bulbs in my table lights. Yeah, perfect. Like I use a lot of, obviously, I've got them all around the studio. I use a lot of smart lights for color, ambiance, and kind of like mood lighting, accent lighting. I love that kind of thing. I have them everywhere, but those lights aren't controlled by the main light switches. Those are just my accent lights. I can control those with scenes and automations and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I've done it, and it's worked out pretty well for the most part in my house. So Lutron switches. Yeah, Lutron works great with everything pretty much. Lutron doesn't support Matter still, but they don't really need to because they have such good support for pretty much every smart home ecosystem. So yeah, Lutron will work well with HomeKit. You do need to have the Lutron bridge, but if you plan on doing more than just 1 or 2 switches, it's well worth it, in my opinion, to have the Lutron Caseta bridge. Yep, Frederick right there says Lutron Caseta light switches have been awesome with 0 issues in over 6 years. Best smart product purchase ever. Yeah, and I would challenge anybody to say that about any other product. It's pretty hard, I would say, to be able to say you've used something for 6 years and not had any issues, 0 issues. There's not too many products I can say that about, but I agree with Frederick. Lutron Caseta has been rock solid for me too. McLaurin, dude, I would say, he asked which model, so many models. So I would go with Lutron Caseta. They do have a few more like, what do they call it? Not professional, but like they have like higher grade models for installers, like RA33, RA something, 30 something. But Lutron Caseta is the consumer level one. You can buy them in Lowe's. They do have different styles. I like the Diva style switches, the Lutron Caseta Diva dimmers. You don't need a, what do you call it? You don't need a neutral wire for the dimmers. You do need a neutral wire for the on-off switches, but not for the dimmers. So yeah, just kind of have to decide there. 20 Ozap Oz Allen, sorry if I butchered your name, man, says, can I use NAS along with Apple iCloud subscription for HomeKit Secure Video, specifically for Aqara cameras? Yeah, you should be able to do that, no problem. So I assume you mean you want to use your Aqara cameras to record in HomeKit Secure Video, but also record to a NAS on your local network, I believe is what you think, or is what you're asking. You should be able to do that, no problem. Yeah, you can kind of have both working simultaneously. So that should not be an issue. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff says, I do that today. Native record to HomeKit Secure Video, but also in each camera, I have them saving to the NAS. Also, cameras are recording to a local micro SD if they have one. Redundancy is great. Yes, 100%. I agree. Great. Thank you for answering that, Jeff. I thought that was the case, but I have not used, let's see, I haven't recorded on, actually I have done that. Yeah, I have done that simultaneously. I just don't normally record mine to my Aqara cameras to a NAS, but yeah, you can definitely do that with HomeKit Secure Video. And like Jeff says, redundancy is great. It's a big reason why I talked about in my last video why I like to record locally 24/7 to an NVR or a NAS or something like Jeff is doing here. Recording locally 24/7 is fantastic. I like doing that for a couple reasons. One, local. Two, 24/7 is just nice. Sometimes event-based recordings miss events and things happen. So when you can record 24/7, whether it's on an SD card or on a NAS or on an NVR, anything like that, 24/7 recording locally is great. And then I like to use HomeKit Secure Video as sort of a backup, really. And now we'll be able to use those, AI features in Apple Home, which is a nice bonus if you have the 2 terabyte plan or higher. But this is what I talked about in my last video, and I have not used HomeKit Secure Video on a number of my cameras for a while because they don't support Apple HomeKit natively. But I did get all of my unified cameras, all my cameras that don't natively support HomeKit, I got those back into HomeKit using something called Scripted, and that gives me HomeKit Secure Video, cloud recording for all those cameras, but I also have that local 24/7 recording here in my house on the NVR through Unify Protect. So kind of the best of both worlds there. Check out that video if you haven't already, if you're interested in getting HomeKit support to your cameras that may not natively support Apple HomeKit. It can be done, just takes a few steps. And with that said, I appreciate you guys all hanging out and tuning in today. If you had a question and I wasn't able to get to it, I apologize. Channel members, you can definitely ping me or message me in our Discord server. I'll be over there. Otherwise, I'll be back right here next week, same time as always. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Hope you have a great rest of your day and a great week, and God bless.